Hello, how y'all doing? So, at some point, this sickness is either going to kill me or I'm going to get better. At some point, that point's not yet. At this point, I'm still just tiny bit sick, which is great. So, yesterday I kind of went on a bit of a rant about random stuff. We didn't want to actually say things directly. Today I'm going to be little bit more direct and probably a little bit better anyway. So, three topics for today is there's Gen Z poll about parenting, two-tiered, and the amazing digital circus. So let's go. So Gen Z poll. There's a poll that said basically MAGA men or Republican men are basically pro having children. Republican women are not really pro children. Democratic women are definitely against having children, and Democratic men are also definitely against having children. So there's four groups. You got Democratic men, Democratic women, men, Republican women. The pro-family group is Republican men. I don't know if the polling was done. Um, Actually, that's actually very interesting. If the polling was done by, if the polling was like just counting white people, it kind of paints a very different story than if it counts everybody. Very different story. Because if they're just counting like white people, it's basically like, yeah, Republican white people want to have more kids than Democratic white people. That doesn't really say anything. If it's everybody, that's telling you that the only group of people in the country that actually want kids is white people. Because, like, that's generally how the demographics go, which would be very interesting. That'd be really, really weird, right? That would definitely be a change in the predictive demographics of this country. Not that it matters, but um, actually, I haven't seen that conclusion from anybody, so maybe they did count. Oh no. Point is that though if they're asking, oh, why are people not having kids? It is definitively not um, conservative guys not stepping up. That's not the situation. Conservative guys are stepping up, which backs up everybody's like anybody's actually looking with their eyes. It backs up what they would think. Like people are like, oh, women are just like, oh, people are like signing women are like, oh, the men just aren't stepping up. They're just aren't good enough good men. It's like, no, that is absolutely not the case. That is complete bullshit. And we all know it's bullshit. So we don't know why we keep spreading this lie. It's like, no, men are perfectly pro family. It's the women who don't want them, which is like fair, but don't blame us for the demographic collapse, all right? Like, we are stepping up, we are doing things. The issue is that this is the other side of the equation. You can't have kids unless you have two people who, a man and a woman, want to get along. And the only way to really fix that is the basically Republicans are doing a really great job with the culture war among men. Really great job. A lot of really, really good commentators and debaters, and that's how you convince guys to adopt a certain lifestyle, the debate, the conversation, all that kind of stuff. We're getting our butts kicked in the culture war among women. That's just true. And I don't really know what the answer to that is. um, I don't know what the answer to that is because I'm not a woman. I don't know what convinces a woman to want a family. It is true that women used to be a lot more conservative than men. That flipped around like the 1970s, 1980s. It might be chemical. Um, the only thing I can see really changing that is I think some of the younger, I think there might be a cohort of young female influencers who influence women to be more feminine, and it's gonna be a cultural thing. It's almost not gonna be noticeable until like 10 years after the fact, whenever that whenever the trick is found, or everything just collapses from demographic collapse. That's an option too. But if you're a feminist, you should want there to be a solution because if everything does collapse, What's going to come from the ashes? It's not going to be feminist. It's going to be patriarchal to the extreme. Like every bit of like misogyny you see from men against women. Imagine that times 20. That's what happens if everything collapses. So if you are a feminist, you should desperately want there to be a solution to this mess. Unless you just that's the only logical thing to say. Um, but yeah, two-tiered. So this happens with men and women, where it happens in England between the native English people are treated differently than the people colonizing England right now. And they are colonizing. That's the word for it. When you have one group of people settle in a land that belongs to another type of people, it's called colonizing. If you're pro mass immigration to England, you are a colonizer. Read it and weep. But then you also get it in different groups, like different groups are treated differently in America. Um, one group is if they kill somebody from another group, nationwide news. Another group gets hidden for 2 weeks until the third media brings it up to everybody and forces people to talk about it. That doesn't seem fair. Like, shouldn't we treat if it's a racial attack of one group on another people, it should be equal whether it's one group or another group. It shouldn't be one reaction for one group and another reaction for another group. Especially if like the stats don't lie about who is killing who. It's pretty clear. Like it's not hidden or anything. No, you never judge anybody by any demographic feature. Ever. Never ever judge anybody by anything demographic. That said, this whole two-tier method is kind of annoying. And he's treating one group of people, ipso facto, worse than another group of people under the law. No, stop. I don't think that's fair. Like maybe it made sense if you have like a clear supermajority of one group and it's like the other group is smaller and like a tiny group, and you want to protect the big group from attacking or demonizing the small group. Okay, that's fair. I can see that. And that makes sense to kind of protect the smaller group. But we're for all small groups, and that doesn't work. That logic doesn't work anymore. I'm sorry, we don't live in a supermajority white country anymore. We live in a group where it's like maybe plurality, like 40% white, 30% Hispanic, 10, 20% black. No, that's there's the, there's the actual numbers, 10% Asian. Those are the actual numbers we have. In that situation, it makes no sense to favor one group over another group. That's just not fair. And people would be like, "Oh, you make more money." It's like, yeah, is that our fault that we make more money? I mean, I thought that being successful is something we should be encouraging, not just demonizing. Oh, you make more money, therefore the legal system should be moved against you. Is that really what we're going for? Because I disagree with that too. Um, and this happens all the time with men and women. It happens too. It's like, oh, you're blaming men for all these things, blaming us for the dissolution of the family when it has nothing to do with us. You're giving responsibilities without the power to do anything about it. Like if you gave us the power to run families, okay, sure, we get the responsibility too. If you take away power, you also take away responsibility. Stop giving responsibilities for things we don't have power over. And this goes a lot to the stupid conservative influencers. They're not stupid, but they're like, oh, man up and get married. It's like, yeah, we don't have the power just to marry people. That's not an option that a lot of us have. Yeah, sure, if a guy is like a really hot guy, rich, everything, and has every option, yeah, I could see pressuring that guy. Most guys aren't in that situation, so stop like yelling at us for things we have no power over. Assigning responsibility without assigning power is cruelty. That's not a survivable psychological. That's not survivable. Everything's survivable. But that's not a healthy psychological position to put somebody in. Say it's all your fault, and also you can't fix it. No, you can't do that to people. And I think people are rejecting that wholesale. I think that's the big trend that's happening right now. people rejecting the framing that you are responsible for things you have no power over. Anyway, anyway, so a new show, which not really a show, it's like 6 episodes. Like, geez, it's a short show. The amazing Digital Circus. It is great. It is just absolutely amazing. It is so colorful and goofy and so incredibly dark at the same time that it is just incredible. Like I don't like guts or blood or anything like that. I just don't. I can't stand it. But you give me darkness and creepiness and twistiness, I'm all on board. And then he mixed it with a digital, like, make it look like a kid show, except have it be really, really dark. Like the Magica vibe is a great vibe to have. Um, and you can get so much creepier without getting into blood. Like people are like, oh, so you should watch a Saw movie or whatever. Blood and guts. It's like, okay, that doesn't take any talent to make you uncomfortable. That's just like a human based human reaction. You get into the mental twisty side, that's where the good stuff is. And the animation is amazing. The storytelling, I'm only on episode 2, so no spoilers. There's 6 episodes. And I was like, I watched 2 episodes, suddenly I'm like flooded with spoilers on the YouTube algorithm. I'm like, I just need to watch this show so that I don't end up being spoiled off of anything. Highly recommended though. It's made by Glitch. So I watched Murder Robots about, I don't know, 2 months ago. Really, really loved it. So me and my friend we watched it. We watched it together. Um, and it was really fun. I'm like, oh, I need to have something to watch. I'm like, oh wait, yeah, we were gonna watch that together. But like, she'll get around to it eventually. But I'm kind of like, oh, I want to watch it now. Um, it is so freaking good. They have a new show coming out in about like 6 months or so. I just love the vibe they have. The vibe they have is just so dark and colorful at the same time. You combine cuteness and creepiness, that is a golden combination right there. Like I'm getting butterflies in my stomach just thinking about that show. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been doing with my free time lately. Oh, yesterday. The only thing I would say is that like there are good shows out there. There is a lot of good entertainment. But millennials were a blot on anything creative. Most of what you actually like in the past 20 years was made by Gen Xers. So more cinematic universe, made mostly by Gen Xers. My generation only really started being in charge of creative enterprises in the past 5 years, I would say, and they were god awful at it. But that said, there are some organizations that seem to have the creative spark even among millennials, and I don't think it's very common creativity among the millennial generation. But when it does show up, it isn't like completely destroyed by a bunch of political nonsense. It is damn good. There is a side of the millennial that is creative and twisty, and it's kind of like the cringe. It's like you don't see the cringe very often. When you do see it, it's very very good. So yeah, Glitch, I'd recommend watching everything they do. These are good. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm rambling. Cheers. See ya.